Hey everyone! Okay, I think you guys should be able to hear audio now. Just let me know. I know I had that little screen up as I got started. And you know what? I'm gonna do that thing again. I know it, where I know the camera is there because I'm using the good camera, but I'm gonna keep thinking that I'm supposed to look at the camera on my computer because sometimes I use that. So welcome everyone. As soon as you guys can hear audio, if someone can just say like I see you and I see audio because I know I had that like screen. And I know there's going to be a little bit of a delay with the way that we do this, but I think that the stream is going well right now. I think everything is on. Okay, yep. Awesome. You guys can see me. I can see myself on my preview. I'm sure you guys can hear me. Yep. Yeah, I just had it on mute for a second while I was getting started because, sorry, I'm doing that thing again where I'm going to look in the wrong place. I had it on mute for a second because I thought, when I get started with these things, like sometimes there's like little there's hiccups and you're like, oh darn, that's not working. And I'm like, I've got the screen up and I'm like, I don't want anyone to like hear me like cursing out my computer on the back end. So yes, I just wanted to check to make sure that that actually worked because I've never muted the audio before through this. So yeah, learn something new every time I do one of these streams, but I swear every time we do this, it gets better and better. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. I'm so happy to see how many of you are joining me live. It is a wonderful Friday afternoon here in my neck of the woods. And by wonderful, I mean it is completely raining. So it is a little bit dark in here. I've got some lighting on. I hope that isn't problematic for you guys. But to be honest, someone said put a little post-it over the other camera. Do we have the second camera on? Is my other camera on too? No. Shouldn't be. Where was I going with that? We're going to be in like a slideshow class for, the bulk of this, but then of course at the end I'll come back and we'll talk. But let's see. Oh, should I do my intro first? Before I jump in, I always want to do my intro. So let's really quickly do my intro and then we'll actually officially start the video now that we know everything's working. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and feel free to share this video with anyone you think would find it interesting because we're going to have a lot of fun today, okay? So let's jump in. Hello, my charmed ones, and welcome back to my channel for another video. And if this is your first time with me, I'd like to say welcome. My name is Alexis, but I'm also known as Miss Trenchcoat all across the internet. I'm an online entrepreneur who designs and sells productivity tools, strategies, and skills to help you manifest success with less stress. So if that's something you're interested in, I have some links down below in the description box where you can check out more of my work online, and feel free to check out more of my work at thecharmshop.com. That's it. It's been so long since I've done that intro. I don't know if you guys have noticed in my recent videos, I haven't been doing my intro. So, wow, that was hard, like to remember what I say. And I know I messed it up a little bit. So, real life, this is, this is totally live and you guys can tell. But what I wanted to do let's introduce the video. Let's introduce the topic of today's live class. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the marketing secrets behind the sold out launch of the Shane Dawson by Jeffree Star Conspiracy Cosmetics collection. Okay, so if you guys are like me and you're into YouTube stuff and YouTube drama and YouTube news, or you're somebody who is an online entrepreneur or wants to be a brand or an influencer online, I have decided to put together this case study for us because I think this is so fascinating and historic. And I think this is a really interesting example of some of the things that are possible online that I've kind of been teaching you guys for like the last few years, right? So this is what I've outlined for you guys today, a case study of this, everything we should be taking away from the series that Shane Dawson, I keep doing this. I keep accidentally calling him Sean, even though I know his name is Shane. The series that he's been doing called The Beautiful World of Jeffree Star, and then the launch of his conspiracy collection. So the first thing that I wanted to do is go ahead and put in, I have an icebreaker. There we go, icebreaker. If you guys want to leave me some comments, let me know if you guys have been keeping up with the Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star series and launch. I'd love to know what you guys think about it and maybe what brought you here today, a question or something that intrigues you about this entire launch process. Like I said, I'm going to be outlining, what I'm calling this a case study, because we're taking a specific example and we're going to be breaking it down, and I'm going to be sharing with you guys 7 secrets to their marketing success. Plus, I've got a little bit of, I don't want to say mistakes, but like missteps, right? Some things that I think we should learn from if we're going to be taking these lessons and applying them to our own businesses, our own brands, our own presence, content online, right? So we've got some lessons that are good. Most of them are good. And then a few of them that are just kind of like cautionary, let's watch out for this in the future. So let's see. I'm going to go in and say hello to some people because we're live, and that's just the nice thing to do. My friend Sam is here. He is a user of the Charmed Life Master Planner. So welcome, Sam. Thank you for joining me today. I didn't realize that you were into online business, or maybe you're not into online business. Maybe you're into the Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star series. So hello to Summer. Hello, Summer. And JX. Renetable. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Renetable. Let's see. Pamela is here. Hello and welcome, Pamela. Sweet and Simple. Hello from Arkansas. Mimi is here. Hello, Mimi. Kit Kats. And she says, yes, I'm addicted and didn't even know who Shane was until this series aired. So, you know what? This is the thing about Shane Dawson, and maybe we can talk about this. I have some notes here, and we're going to get into a actual, like I said, an actual presentation, right? Where I have thoughts well organized on screen for you. But, being someone who myself, I've been on YouTube for 10 years, I always knew who Shane Dawson was, right? Because he's been on YouTube even longer than me. I think his channel says it was created in 2005. So he's been there for about 15 years. So he's really an OG creator. But he did videos that weren't what I watched, right? So they were never what I watched until the whole thing with this new docuseries style that he's doing. That's when I really started watching him as someone I thought was pushing the envelope with what you could do on YouTube and creating a new genre on YouTube, right? Because YouTube is very flexible. You can do a lot of things on it. I mean, look at me. I'm teaching a class live on YouTube, which I'm sure, in 2005 would have seemed nutty to people, right? YouTube is for cat videos, right? And, just entertainment videos, comedy, things like that. But, he's someone who I think in recent years has really been pushing the envelope for what YouTube is about. And, something on my end that I think maybe a lot of people don't really think about is that as someone who has been on YouTube for 10 years, right? It's one of those weird things where, I don't know, I struggle with the idea of is there a day where I have to stop doing this? Or is this something I'm supposed to do for the rest of my life? You know what I mean? At what point is this over? At what point do I need to shift things, right? Because when you're doing something for let's be honest, 10 years, most people don't even, I started YouTube in my 20s. Most people don't have one career for 10 years, when they're in their 20s, you know what I mean? So to have been doing this consistently, and I will say definitely for me, I wasn't as consistent in the beginning, but once it became a serious, platform for me, I became more consistent, right? And so I just think that it's interesting to see the people who are the most OG creators and what they're doing with YouTube now, because I can totally imagine that they're getting to the point where it's this is the same thing every day. And although it's a wonderful job, right? It's a wonderful career. It's a wonderful creative outlet. It's don't you get bored after a while, of just doing the same thing? You know what I mean? So it's interesting to see the way that Shane has morphed YouTube a little bit into his own sort of docu-series. And, he's definitely one of the more fortunate ones who has the following there to be able to do the quality over quantity, because YouTube has always been, as far as I'm concerned, it's always been quantity of videos over quality. And then there was a point where I think they both merged, right? Where if you had a lot of videos and you were doing them well, then you skyrocketed. But he's definitely doing the making less videos, putting more thought into it, and releasing them as series, like, you know, almost like a Netflix series, or like, you know, that's the way we do this now. Like everything here, like Hulu, Netflix, you know, Amazon, everything is like launching the whole series, right? And that's interesting that he's like pioneering this for YouTube, because it does have really great implications for creators. Now, we're not going to be talking about things like that, right? The future of YouTube video specifically. I want to talk about marketing today, the marketing strategies that they used, how absolutely genius this whole thing was. And that's like a totally big intro. We're like almost 15 minutes in now to the class. But yes, I didn't start watching, to answer Kit Kat's question or to respond to her icebreaker. I didn't watch Shane Dawson until like 3 years ago. Sam says I don't even wear makeup. Wait, Kit says I don't. Wait, Sam says I don't even wear makeup, but I love Shane and Jeffree, and I love the business side of things. Jeffree in particular, I see as a business role. Absolutely. Oh, you know what, boys? Who wants a treat? Who wants a treat? Something else I have to say real quick for you guys is because if anyone who's not new to me should understand this already. Here, who wants a treat? Who wants a treat? I have the 2 dogs, and because one of them has a lot of anxiety, I can't just put them up in the bedroom and like make them wait out this class. So if you guys hear the barking, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause what I'm talking about, address them. I've got their favorite things here, and hopefully they will calm down and stop barking as soon as possible. So I'm sorry, I can't keep them quiet, and I'm not going to like kennel them or do anything that's going to cause them anxiety. So hopefully they're just going to be good boys and let us talk about makeup and business and all that fun stuff. Okay. So let me address some more of the questions here. Hello, Patricia from Quebec. Sassy Moxie. Hello. And Summer says, I've been keeping up with Shane Dawson. Dawn says, hello. Watch all my content. Thank you so much, Dawn. You think it's thought-provoking and useful? I hope it is. I hope today is thought-provoking. Hello, Edie. Edie's one of my OGs. Hello from Maryland, Edie. Awesome. Okay, so feel free, you guys, to answer this icebreaker question as we go through. Yeah, Summer says, I've got a toddler. I get it. Yeah, so anyone who has is a mom or has dogs or any other pets that or things in their lives that you can't keep quiet all the time, you understand. So yeah, feel free, you guys, to, as you're coming in, if you're seeing this, answer the icebreaker. I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking about this. And of course, I'm going to go ahead now and jump into our slideshow because we're 15 minutes in. I don't like to draw this out for too long. But give me a second because I'm going to have to remember how to do this. It's been a hot minute. And there may be an audio change when we do this. I think there might be. Hold on, I'm going to get into our full screen. Close this off. Good. Okay. Hold on. Share screen. Here we go. Sorry, I'm getting like a weird... Can you guys still hear me? It's because I just got like a weird... I just got a weird audio message. Let me know. I'm going to also leave a comment just in case you guys can't hear me. Okay, good. Renettable, thank you so much. Okay, excellent. Good. Oh, you know what? You guys can still see me too. I'm going to close out of this because I don't want to cause any confusion or blockage. Excellent. Good. Okay, so what I'm going to go ahead and do right now is get into my full screen. And I think you guys should be able to see that. Oops, you know what I have to do? I have to close out of some things on the side here. And I'm going to close out. Oh, can I close out of comments or just make it smaller? Oops. How small can I make it? Not that small. Okay. Okay, I think we should be okay with this. Okay, So, welcome to the marketing secrets behind the sold out launch of Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star Cosmetics, their conspiracy collection of business case study. So today I've decided to do a different sort of class for you on the topic of online business. Instead of doing a workshop or a lecture on, just teaching you guys straight out strategies, I thought it would be fun to do a business case study where we'd be able to dissect a subject and learn to reverse engineer their success through the strategies that they used. As those within my community likely know, I run a business online, and part of that business revolves around YouTube and teaching online marketing. And lately, like much of the YouTube-centric internet, I've been fascinated by the work of OG video creator Shane Dawson, and specifically his latest series called The Beautiful World of Jeffree Star that follows Shane's immersion into the YouTube beauty culture and his collaboration with beauty influencer and mogul Jeffree Star on their conspiracy collection launch. Now, if you're in my community watching this and you have no clue what I'm talking about or what the series is, I will leave a link down below where you can catch up, but I'm not going to be able to sum up the series or explain properly who Shane is in this video. So for that reason, I'll say this class is likely for those within my community who do know who Shane and Jeffree are and are familiar with the series and recent conspiracy collection launch. Now, that being said, although this class is so outside of my wheelhouse, I really felt like I wanted to share my views and commentary about the series with you, specifically from an online marketing perspective, because what Shane has been doing with this series and his work is absolutely changing the game on online marketing and influencer culture, and that's something that I live for. Understanding the trends, dissecting business models, and seeing behind the scenes of other online businesses and how they function and market, all of that is right up in my wheelhouse. And being on YouTube as well for 10 years myself, that's right, I've been here for a decade, people, and I haven't hit 100,000 yet, but I still think that I'm doing well for myself, having turned online marketing and in part YouTube into my full-time job is pretty awesome in my book. So I have a lot to say on this topic of the series, and I really think you aren't going to get the insight that I'm about to share with you from any other commentary channel online. So I think this will be valuable for people either who are online marketers or even just invested consumers who are also following along with this series and with a lot of the changes and drama within YouTube and the online influencer world, okay? So if you've been following along with the conspiracy collection launch, have you? Let me know in the comments. If you have, you're in the right place. Are you fascinated by the success of online influencers like Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star? If so, let me know in the comments, but you are in the right place as well. And would you like the real tea on the marketing secrets they used for a sold out launch? Because literally, I really believe that this is a really historic, this was probably the biggest beauty launch, definitely in YouTube's history, but I wonder if it's like historically the biggest beauty launch period. Like, I'm not sure if that data has come out yet or if it's been said yet, but I wouldn't be surprised. So if you are interested in this topic, this class is for you. And like I mentioned in the intro, we are going to be talking about the 7 secrets of success that I found when I dissected their launch. Okay, so today you are going to learn, how a non-beauty influencer was able to successfully launch a successful beauty collection collab, the most successful beauty collection collab in history. You're going to learn the way great content marketing was used to attract, excite, and sell to an eager audience, and the multiple streams of income that together easily add up to a passive 8-figure payday for Shane alone. So I'm not even trying to analyze, Jeffree's back end. We know that he's already like a multimillionaire from, Shane's first series with him. But I think it's interesting to look at the income that came in for Shane specifically, and how that plays into this whole influencer marketing conversation. So this video, like I said, this class is 7 secrets, and I've broken it up into 3 parts where each part is going to be evaluating each of these 3 statements, just so you guys can follow along, because normally I do like a whole big slideshow, and I tried to pare it down today because I thought there was going to be so much for us to talk about that it was more about let's get to the focus of what I want to share, and then we will have our conversation separately. And like I mentioned in the intro, I also want to spill the tea in terms of some missteps that I think were made that give us some important insight into the limitations of influencer marketing and lessons that we might want to consider for our own businesses online. Okay, so real quick, if you guys have never been in one of my classes before, how to get the most from this class, put your phone onto silent so you're not being distracted. Shut your door or put on headphones. So if you're somewhere where you can close the door and just not be distracted, shut your door. If you are somewhere in public or something like that where you've got people around you, put on your headphones so you can totally immerse yourself in this experience. Also, make sure to take notes and pay attention because it's going to be worth it. I think for any of you guys who are really interested in online marketing and influencer marketing, this is going to be worth your time. And keep in mind that this class is for educational and entertainment purposes only. I'm not a commentary channel, as you guys know if you're any of my OGs. I'm literally here to dissect this from a educational standpoint. So I'm not here to shade anyone. I'm not here to, although I'm going to use the term spill the tea, right? I have no malicious intent. I've got no skin in this game. I have no affiliations with Shane or Jeffree, and I've never purchased anything that any of them have launched. I'm trying to remember. The only thing I've ever done, you guys, just to be completely transparent, is I've used Jeffree's recommendation on products to buy other products, but never his products. So other makeup things, he's been this was great. I took his advice and bought it, right? So I really don't know them, have no affiliation. This is in no way any sort of propaganda or anything like that. So the last thing I want to say is that if you are interested in the topic of online business and marketing, there is a link down below where you can get on my email list where you can get, first news on future free classes like this and some additional insight and business stuff as well. Because I have some things, some emails that are going to go out after this class as well, just for additional resources and things that you guys may be interested in. So if you do like this topic, if you like me, if you find that I'm easy to learn from, you think I'm a good teacher, love this content, sign up. I think it'll be worth it for you. Now, I want to break down why I'm actually doing this case study. I kind of gave you a little bit of a primer for that, but I really want to start by explaining what really prompted me to choose the conspiracy collection and this topic for class. So, like I said, I've been following the work of Shane Dawson since the docu-series style work started with his Graveyard Girl series, 2 years ago. But before that, I only knew who Shane Dawson was by name recognition and the fact that he was a very, OG YouTuber. But I didn't really follow his work. But since I have been following his work for the last few years and really getting into it, when it came to the series, The Beautiful World of Jeffree Star, once he dropped that trailer, but before the series launched, I actually made some interesting predictions about the way the series would go based on my knowledge of YouTube, online marketing, and having watched the two of them, Shane and Jeffree, for a few years at this point. And the thing is, every prediction I made about the series came true, which doesn't shock me. I'm smart, and I think that anyone who has a knowledge of YouTube and marketing and these creators and was paying enough attention would have seen the series and the way it played out coming. But what really put the nail in the coffin for me and why I'm sitting here talking to you today is because a few weeks ago, after the launch of the collection, Shane posted a video to, I don't know if it was Snapchat or Instagram, kind of summing up what his thoughts were about the rest of the series. And one of the most significant predictions that I made about this series, as far as I'm concerned, actually, I feel came true. And I think it has some serious implications for influencer marketing and YouTube and basically our street cred as influencers. And I think this is one of the reasons I really want to talk to you guys. And we're going to get to that a little bit later in this video. So just to be clear, like I said, I don't know them. I've got no skin in the game with them. I know that they both have drama in their past and I'm aware of it peripherally, but I don't really know much about what they've been accused of in the past. And so I just want to let you guys know that there's no shade, no drama. I kind of think I already went through that. So the way I would approach this video, especially if you're someone who's new to watching me, who might have just seen the title of this video and is this seems interesting. I want you to think of me as Professor Alexis, who has no skin in the game outside of being someone who operates a business within the field of digital marketing and on YouTube and social media. So I know a thing or two about traditional and digital marketing that might be helpful insight for those of you who want to learn from the trends of digital marketing. Okay? So the first thing that I'd like to address in this series or in this class is what I like to call the rise of the influencer. I think it's an important point to understand in terms of digital marketing and the role YouTube played in this before we can get to what happened with the series. We use the term influencer a lot nowadays, especially in reference to YouTube creators, Instagrammers, but it also applies to bloggers and people on other social platforms like Facebook or Twitter as well. And it's no secret that YouTube played a pivotal role in the creation of a new subset of marketing that revolved around the influencer and revolved around a specific type of content creation known as content marketing. So, an influencer, just to give you guys kind of context of what I mean when I say that word. An influencer is a person with a following or contacts online who is seen as a source of trends, information, or entertainment in a specific or varied field. I think that's a very general definition of what an influencer is, okay? Now, content marketing, this isn't new. For those who aren't familiar with the term, it refers to content that is specifically created to market to a specific demographic of consumers for the purpose of selling a product or service. So to give an example, there's videos on YouTube that are purely like entertainment, sketch comedy videos come to mind. Essentially videos that are just there to get views. They aren't selling anything. They're purely there to entertain and earn an income from ad revenue. But other videos, like some of mine, for instance, are intended to help people, provide additional information or value on a problem or a subject with the hopes that if the viewer is interested in the topic, a purchase will be made for some product or service of mine. Now, I've never been, one to hide this. Like I talk about content marketing a lot in terms of online business and in other classes. And you guys know, if you're my OG followers, you guys know that I don't do sponsorships. I very rarely accept like free products for promotional purposes for my YouTube and my, my blog and my other platforms that I really do when it comes to my YouTube channel. I prioritize giving you guys information, and it's all within the hopes that if my information, my content is valuable to you, that you will be interested in making a purchase from me. So it's very direct. Like, you know who you're buying from, you know what you're getting. I think it's very surface level. Now, in the past, when it came to marketing online, marketers relied heavily on SEO or search engine optimization to get eyes on their pieces of content. And specifically content marketing, right? So it's not new that anyone's doing content marketing. And this isn't a practice that's really gone away, right? There are still people out there who are online marketers that you do not know their face, you don't know who they are, but they have created great pieces of content and used SEO, search engine optimization, to get people to see that content and hopefully convert them into sales for whatever they're selling. So that is still alive and well. That model has not gone away. But what has changed about content marketing is that through the rise of social media platforms and blogs and YouTube, of course, more and more, the most effective marketing isn't being done by faceless online marketers. It's being done by a notable influencer. So this is why we see more and more influencers, YouTubers, bloggers, Instagrammers creating their own products and services. Ad revenue and even affiliate sales are nothing in comparison to selling your own products. And I think that's because there has been this shift, right? The content marketing has always been there, but it was once done by faceless marketers, and now more and more it relies heavily on ads because different platforms like Instagram, like Facebook, I think Instagram and Facebook are probably two very big ones where we can say for sure there's been a paywall that's put up between marketers and their audience, right? That it's pay to play now. But now more and more, this influencer-led marketing has been taken over and been more lucrative. So this is why, after years of people, being influencers on YouTube and blogs and things like that, these people were sharing authentically things that they liked. They were sharing information and things like that, really with very little skin in the game. Now we see so many influencers creating their own products and services. And this is where we look at like Jeffree and Shane as people who are influencers who are now, using their influence and their power to create content marketing that sells their own products now. But this is the thing about this influencer-led marketing. It's still a tricky business because influencers can't just sell anything to their audience. They have to be strategic or they will lose their social currency that they've kind of earned from being an influencer. And I think we've definitely seen some examples, especially in the last few years of, some influencers who have lost a bit of street cred, a bit of social currency. What comes to mind just right now, because we're talking about beauty stuff, is the whole Jaclyn Hill cosmetics and her lipsticks and all that drama, right? She has definitely lost some social currency for, her launch that's going on right now. She's got a launch going on right now with some highlighters or something. And definitely there's people who are very wary of her now and who think that she's only engaging with her audience when she wants to sell something, right? So unfortunately, there are these tightening standards that apply to influencers and the marketing that they do because they're more visible as opposed to those traditional marketers who kind of fly under the radar, often, unfortunately, with more nefarious practices. So I think this is something that when it comes to this influencer-led marketing and content marketing, as someone who does this myself, right? I definitely feel the pressure, the tightening that's happening to influencers that I think is a little bit unfounded, that they're under more scrutiny. They're kind of held to higher standards when, to be frankly honest with you guys, and anyone who really knows, the kind of, like I said, more SEO driven content marketing that's done by more traditional marketers, the people that you don't see marketing to you are the ones who are getting away with a lot more nefarious things, right? Than someone like Jaclyn Hill, who has built up this audience and has built up a reputation, who sells something and then the launch goes bad. There are worse things going on, but I feel like because influencers are more visible, they're getting a lot more of this brunt is falling on them. Okay. So enter now Shane and Jeffree into this whole influencer content marketing. They've been pioneering content creation and influencer marketing via YouTube, right? They've been building their know, like, and trust factors for years. They know what they're doing to some extent, even though Shane reads as clueless sometimes, he knows more than he leads on. And kind of like we mentioned a little bit earlier, definitely Jeffree, we already know, is like business mogul genius, right? So he definitely knows what he's doing. So I think it's time that we spill their secrets, okay? Shall we? Now, part one, like I said, is how a non-beauty influencer was able to successfully launch the most successful beauty collection collab in history, at least on YouTube. But I think it's probably like in the history of the world. And this leads us to secret number one. Like I said, there are 7 secrets for anyone who's keeping track and, wants to kind of write these things down. Secret number one is that strong branding stands out from the crowd. Okay. So in terms of branding, usually when we talk about branding, we're talking about a deliberate strategy of choosing names, logos, and imagery to associate with your business, right? But influencer branding also incorporates an element of personal narrative into the brand identity of the personality themselves. So let's use me and my brand as an example first, okay? So what do you think of when you think of me? Like, what are the elements of my branding that aren't necessarily related to like my business name and logo and things like that? So one thing that I always hear from people is stripes. People see stripes, they say it reminds me of them. You will not believe the amount of people in my audience, bless their souls, who send me pictures of striped things on a daily basis because they're like, I saw this at the store and I thought of you. And I'm like, thank you for thinking of me when you think of black and white stripes. You might think of computers or technology, right? Because I do a lot of digital marketing and I use a lot of computers and tech and things like that in my images. And I talk about stuff like that, right? So that makes sense as well. You might think of like photography, right? And like cameras. Again, I am someone who talks about that a lot. I do have a photography course that I sell. So if you're someone who thinks of photography or great imagery and, DSLR cameras or anything like that, it's because I use that in my marketing. It's things that I talk about as part of my peripheral branding. If you think of my glasses when you think of me, again, totally normal. Some people I think now start associating me with Chanel bags. This is why I've added my little Chanel bag icon because I have made a few videos on them. So now when people think of Chanel in my audience, sometimes they think of me, which is sweet. The master plan, my planners, things like that, right? You might associate some of my products with me. Coffee, right? And I love this. I call this little icon like coffee and inspirational hashtag, right? So like you guys might think like being a boss babe, right? Like being a boss girl, coffee, things like that. It might be things that you think of when you think of me. And, crazy sunglasses, right? Because I love to wear my big, bold sunglasses, right? So maybe a little bit of style, although I don't really think I really fall into the fashion category, but I do love to use like fashion accessories as part of my branding. And let's see. Okay, hold on. Grace, who wants a treat? Who wants a treat? Come here. Sorry, guys, there's a mailman outside. You guys know how it goes. Who wants a treat? Who wants a treat? Thank you. Come on, Sal. Come on. Thank you. Take that. Thank you for being good for the mailman. Thank you. Say thank you, mailman. Shh. Sully, please be good. Please be good. He's gone, okay? He's been gone. Shh, Sully. Baby here. Sit. Can you be good? Can you be a good boy? Okay, I need you to calm down. Thank you. Thank you. Starbuck, you're being good. Sullivan, don't. Starbuck. Okay, I'm gonna hold you first. Sully, chill. Chill. Sorry, you guys. As you guys know with dogs, postman is persona non grata number one. Okay, so if you think of any of those things when you think of me, that's because those are things that are related to my brand peripherally, right? They're part of my personality, not just my branding of my business, but my influencer personality. Okay, so when it comes to branding, and the fact that strong branding really stands out, I think that the Conspiracy Collection collab relied heavily on the personal elements from Shane Dawson that resonated with his audience. So when you think about the names and things that they used and the imagery that they used in the branding of that collab, they used conspiracy, tea, pigs, Cheetos, diet soda, UFOs. They named things after people in his life and phrases that Shane uses often. And all of these elements worked together to create a product launch that was so unique to Shane Dawson that it automatically stood out from the crowd of other similar products on the market. And so when you automatically look different, right, you automatically stand out. And that only comes from strong branding. So the other thing that we have to keep in mind here is that people weren't buying a product when they bought into this launch, right? Yes, they did buy a physical product, right? But really what they were buying into was a piece of Shane Dawson himself, a piece of his identity, a piece of his history. He has a long and storied history online, and that's really what people were buying when they purchased from the collab, right? So the fact of the matter is, Shane isn't a beauty influencer. He's not a makeup artist, and he didn't reformulate any makeup or create a new category within beauty within this launch, right? We all know that he relied heavily on the fact that Jeffree, it was all Jeffree. This is Jeffree's products, Jeffree's business. So what he did was nothing that was truly unique, right? There's a million shadows out there. I'm sure you could find dupes for any of the colors that he made. But it was the branding that really ended up causing the collection to sell out, because the execution was so on brand from him that it stood out as something completely personal to his identity. So strong branding stands out and it sells out. And if you've, done any of this, I don't think that, I'm sorry. And if he had done it any other way, I don't think it would have been as exciting for his audience. And I think we saw as part of the series where they were, choosing other other boxes and other packaging and things like that. But, it wasn't as exciting as what the final product ended up being like. So I do think that anything he would have put out would have been successful to some extent. But I think the reason this was so huge was in part because the strong branding really gave people a sense that they were buying a piece of Shane himself, not necessarily just another piece of makeup. Okay. So, secret number 2 now, for those of you who are paying attention to the secrets here, is that consistent communication builds a consistent following. Okay. So when it comes to consistent communication, Shane has been on YouTube since 2005 and he has over 23 million subscribers and over 1.6 thousand videos on his channel. That's a lot of videos, okay? But YouTube isn't his only platform. On Instagram, he has 11.8 million followers with 4.5 thousand posts. Twitter, 9.3 million followers with 32.1 thousand tweets. And he has or had a podcast and several other social platforms as well, but you can't find information on podcasts very often. And I don't know if he still does the podcast. I tried to find it, but I couldn't. I know I've listened to it in the past, but I guess maybe he's, taken a break from that. So he's definitely someone who has been in constant communication with his audience for a very long time and creating a lot of different types of content. So this content is what attracts an audience to him consistently and keeps people in touch with him, increasing what we call the know, like, and trust factors. So people don't get invested in others unless they feel like they know them, unless they feel like they like them, and they feel like they can trust them. So in terms of trust, I would say that means they feel like they're not being misled, that the person's being authentic, they know what they can expect from, them regularly, like they're going to get new content and there's clear communication that's going on. So that is what, Shane's 15 years on YouTube and other platforms has yielded him a whole lot of know, like, and trust, and a gigantic following from doing this consistent communication through various platforms. So Shane's consistency and his plethora of varied content over the years is what keeps him in the public eye and keeps his brand awareness up. Whether he's working on a video series or a product launch, popularity is attention, and it's what led to the massive success of the Conspiracy Collection, because he had a large following of people who were giving him his attention. So we don't want to overlook this. This was a success because he is huge, but there are still more to it than just him being huge. Because like I said before, an influencer can't just launch anything or else it could clash with their brand. Now, secret number 3 is that content is the queen of market research. Now, how do we move successfully from Shane Dawson, the video and content creator, to Shane Dawson and a sold out beauty collab? The truth is, not everyone of his size and scope would be able to bridge this gap successfully. Influencers do have to play within their own fields, and beauty was not Shane's field before 2019. That's what makes this whole collab so historic, so interesting, because it's unexpected, right? It's unexpected that someone who was almost like the anti-beauty guru in a way, launched a very successful makeup collaboration. But the market research was there to suggest that he could easily sell to, a well-done beauty collection, right? There was market research done there. Before bringing a product or service to market, it's normal for someone to do market research. If you've never heard of what that is, it's essentially doing their due diligence to make sure that, number 1, people want to buy what they're selling, and number 2, people are willing to buy it from them specifically. So in terms of the product itself, makeup is $1 billion industry. So yeah, there's always a market for more and more makeup. That's one of the reasons why we see so much of it, right? But does Shane specifically have enough of a following to sell sell out a collection of over 1 million units of just the eyeshadow palettes, right? And actually he does. Now, I don't think he actually did any market research, but I think the market research was there. Without even knowing it, I would say he had done market research. And this is where I think Jeffree Star actually probably knew this more than he did. But when you think about it, most of Shane's previous docu-series centered around beauty influencers. So Graveyard Girl, Tana Mojo, although whatever, she may or may not be considered a beauty influencer. Obviously Jeffree Star is, and even Eugenia Cooney. These are all people who are in the beauty community in one way or another. And those previous videos, right, that content averaged well into the 20 million mark with the views. So Shane had an average of 20 million viewers who were interested in makeup and beauty and interested in his work as well. So unknowingly, through this previous content, Shane had built and tested an audience that was actually the perfect demographic for him to sell makeup to. And so really here, his content was the way that he could prove his market research, right? He tested this product in a way before he ever really brought a product to market, which I think is fascinating and something that I think, is something let me go back to that actually, because I don't want to move on to the next thing without talking about this enough. This is something that I do also do very often, which is I will test an idea through content before I actually create a final product, right? If I know that I could do a video or a blog post and it's well received, then I know there is a market there within my audience for perhaps a future product or service, right? So in this example, secret number 3, that this content that he had previously done was really amazing market research and an amazing tool that he was able to use to even probably build up a stronger audience under the beauty umbrella. So that is how Shane Dawson, not a beauty influencer, was able to create a sold out beauty collection in 3 secrets. Next, part number 2 is the way great content marketing was used to attract, excite, and sell to an eager audience. And with this, we start with secret number 4, which is that great storytelling sells. Okay, so selling through story. And actually, I need to do something real quick, you guys. So sorry, I'm pulling out real quick just so I can close out of some things that keep popping up. I apologize. Okay, so selling through story. When it came to the marketing for the Conspiracy Collection, we know that there was not a single penny spent on advertising, which is amazing and really shows the power and scope of online marketing, right? Think about it. They didn't pay for advertising, right? So why did this sell out? How did this sell out? Instead, the collection was completely sold by content marketing done through the great storytelling. The entire series, The Beautiful World of Jeffree Star, was one major work of content marketing. Now, I realize this might be the biggest tea that I spill here for you guys, but I truly believe, and I predicted, based on the content and execution of the series, that it was entirely fabricated to sell the collection, and no shade, they did a damn good job. But if you think that the series was meant to show you the real behind the scenes of how makeup is created and to expose the dark underbelly of the beauty community, you had to have left that series feeling underwhelmed, because it was never the intention of the series to do any of that. Instead, what we got was a compelling storyline filled with melodrama, right? Shane is known for the melodrama, just making things seem dramatic even though they're not. A whiff of the beauty business, because we did see into the beauty business to some extent, and a peppering of shade to other beauty brands as well, right? So I think that they knew that they were going to have to spill some tea, so they did spill some tea, right? They spilled some tea on Too Faced and what happened with Nikkie Tutorials, right? They created drama, they gave some of the things that they promised. But by no means was it really this like deep, dark look at how to start a beauty company. Now, to Shane's likely mostly youthful audience, right? This was enough storytelling to feel authentic. And honestly, I actually believe on Shane's end that the storyline was authentic. He didn't walk out of that experience with the knowledge and contacts necessary to start his own beauty brand if he wanted to, right? Jeffree's team took care of all the real business. So really what we saw was a well-constructed commercial with each new installment leaving us wanting more of what was promised, to the point where buying the product was the ultimate crescendo to fill the viewer's need for more information. Now, keep in mind, the series isn't entirely over yet. As I go live, the final installment hasn't been released yet, but mark my words, we will likely be left with more questions than answers purely due to the fact that a major portion of the launch has now come to a close. And I personally believe that the way this series played out, will end up being a source of drama for some time that will end up putting Shane into hibernation for a while. So this is what I was kind of alluding to earlier. And this is maybe the time to talk about it, is that he made that Instagram story or Snapchat story or whatever, where he was like, okay, so we put out the 6th part of the series, and now I think it's going to be over, right? Like, I don't want to do anything else. And one of the things that I predicted that I was like, if he does this is like the nail in the coffin. I was like, as soon as he launches this collection and makes what we're going to talk about now, in a little bit, 8 figures, right? He gets his 8-figure payday. He's bouncing, like he's out, because he's never had this much exposure before. He's never had this much success before. And it's going to ultimately, all this documentary was a marketing, a content marketing scheme. And I don't like to say scheme because that seems negative, but it was planned. It was planned to be content marketing. And once the launch happened and it was successful, enough work had been done on his end, to be completely frank. So this leads us to secret number 5. And I think this is where we'll talk a little bit more in depth about all this. The mistakes will be made, but it's how you manage them that actually matters, okay? So managing the missteps of a significant launch. I don't want to say that anything they did was a mistake, because they sold out this launch like they did what they came to do. So I like to call it a misstep, right? Because it wasn't an unsuccessful launch just because they made mistakes. But everyone is going to make mistakes in a launch. Everyone's going to have issues. But it's really, I think, how you manage them that really shows your true colors, right? And really puts forth like the good, the goodwill with your audience and with your community in order to really keep your social currency high. So as I alluded to in the last secret, I think there were some mistakes or missteps that will cause a bit of fallout from the series and the launch. So I want to address these because the fact of the matter is that any launch will suffer missteps, but it's how we manage those missteps that matters for the future of our brands and businesses. I think there's much to be learned from the way the series played out and the way Shane specifically has handled the fallout thus far. First, let me walk you through what I believe were the major missteps of the launch, okay? So over-promising and under-delivering. This is a big one. So the biggest misstep taken in the series thus far is that more was promised to the viewers than was ultimately delivered thus far. When the series launched, it was expected to be, I think, 9 episodes. That was like the number I had in my head, and it must have been said somewhere, right? But as of this moment, it sits at 6 episodes, with the most recent being the launch of the Conspiracy Collection. Now, one additional episode has been promised to wrap up the series, and ironically, it will air today, right? But I haven't seen it. I don't know. It's probably not live yet, right? I would assume it's going to come at 6 o'clock, but I think he said yesterday, like, don't quote me on time, he was saying. So we've got one more episode to go to round out a whole bunch of promises that were made, but were under-delivered on. And this is important because something that I always teach with my students, right? And I teach with my marketing and things like that, is that it's better to under promise and over deliver, right? And I think this is where there's going to actually be big missteps for the future street cred of Shane and maybe in a way Jeffree Star. I don't know how that's going to spill over. The second mistake that was made that kind of feeds into this over-promising is there's a difference between timely and evergreen content, okay? So the initial trailer of the series as well included footage that alluded to the inclusion of some major beauty drama from mid-2019 that now seems to have been glossed over in the series. Now, I'm personally not surprised by this choice to exclude that drama because anyone who knows the way YouTube content works understands that drama commentary needs to be timely for it to be applicable. So I'm not surprised that now, months after the drama has ended, Shane doesn't feel it's appropriate to rehash old news because it honestly doesn't make sense to do it. But this is one of the drawbacks of his new docu-series style content that fans are going to be once again left unsatisfied with. And that was really a lot of the topic of that conversation that I said that he had on Instagram or Snapchat a few weeks ago was, oh, we made the launch. It's done. It doesn't feel like I should be talking about the drama, even though I drew you in with the promise of drama. And even though I filmed through the drama, this is one of the drawbacks of the way he's doing content now is that if you don't drop it in a timely manner, it's likely, I understand that audience wants to see the drama. I'm interested to see how he wraps it up today. Like, I don't think that I think if anything, he's going to show a little bit of footage from when things were happening and then maybe have like a kumbaya moment that only, he can have as like apparently, YouTube, the internet's therapist, right? Because by bringing up old drama, he's going to cause people to be upset in terms of like his friends, right? And that's something that you kind of see from Shane Dawson is that he's very big into making sure he's not upsetting anyone else. He's very much a people pleaser. And so I think he knows that he shouldn't be basically waking the beast with this. But I'm not surprised that it wasn't included because it was very timely news. And now at this point, we're months away from it. And this is something that people need to be aware of when it comes to content, which is that your content is either timely, something that you put in the moment, or it's evergreen, meaning that no matter when someone watches it, it's still going to be applicable. And right now, with the way he's been doing these docu-series videos, yes, it's interesting to pepper in things that happened earlier this year to tell the story, but some things really, the time is over to share that content. So the next mistake we'll talk about, or misstep, is launch day issues that broke the internet. So the last set of missteps I really want to touch on have to do with the drama on launch day with Shopify and other online retailers' sites crashing or having issues for customers in checkout. Now, although this might seem like a big problem, and I'm sure people who are running a business, this is like a big fear. I'm sure a lot of people have. And I've even experienced this as well, where launches that I've had have broken my shop. And I don't use Shopify. I use my own shop. I've built my own shop app with WordPress and HTML. So it's, I have a higher issue with things happening, right? So I'd never be able to sustain the traffic that they sustained. But I really think that although it seems like a big problem that people should worry about, it clearly wasn't a problem. And I don't think there was anything that Shane or Jeffree or even Shopify really could have done to prevent this. Anyone who's ever tried to make a purchase from a big launch knows that no retailer, online or even in person, can prevent the issues that come from having an on-demand product. Ultimately, this was a good problem for them to have because their launch sold out, their pre-sale sold out, and they clearly have the demand to do a few more launches during, 2020 as well, right? So the thing that comes to mind with this is a lot of people might think drama, the internet broke, they broke the internet, Shopify was down, blah, blah, blah. And there was some artificial melodrama kind of around this during launch day. And I know that that's probably good for PR, but the way I think about this, it always makes me think of Black Friday and a clip of watching people storm into a Walmart, right? whenever there's more people interested in something and there's not enough of the something, right? There's always going to be problems one way or another. So I think this was not a bad problem to have. If anything, it really gave more demand, right? The fact that it sold out, the fact that it was hard to get, the fact that they had some products that didn't go live on Shopify until later. That was actually probably a good idea. In fact, they probably should have, what they could have probably done is launched pieces of the collection throughout the day so that there wasn't as much going on. But I think either way, it was going to be drama, right? Just more people to buy something than enough of the actual units, right? This is just like numbers here. There is one final thing that I wanted to add, and I kind of added this at the last minute, because I saw that this was, I kept seeing videos pop up about this in like my suggested feed, that there are some allegations of damaged and defective products, okay? Now that the collection has been launched and people are receiving their products, there's been some claims popping up online about people receiving damaged or defective products. In truth, this is to be expected with any launch or product, that sometimes things like this happen. And that's what refunds and returns are for. I'm confident that Jeffree's team will take care of their customers. I don't think there's going to be a problem. Other than mentioning that, I don't think that these new claims are anything to really hold against the success of the launch itself, nor do I think they have anything to do with the strategies that we're focusing on today. We're talking about makeup here. You know what I mean? You pack it up, sometimes it breaks. I know there was a lot of, I feel like it's manufactured drama where people are like, oh, there's hairs in my palette. A lot of this, again, has nothing to do with the success of the launch and more just has to do with the fact that we're talking about products here, physical things that are delicate. To be completely candid with you guys, and I know a lot of this is going to be blown out of the proportions here, blown out of the water because of the whole Jaclyn Hill thing. But I regularly buy makeup, you guys, as you probably know. And I'm not going to say that I don't think they're defective. But I often will find something like a little tiny, not a hair, but like a white fuzz, right? That will be like, I just bought a makeup palette the other week during the Sephora launch sale, sorry. And when I opened it up, I was like, oh, look at these little white fuzzies. And I'm like, if I were a drama person, I could turn around and be like, oh, look at all these hairs. This is a defective product. No, it's not. This is the world. Like, there's debris everywhere. Like, there's going to be things that get in. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with the product or that it's defective. So I think nowadays people are getting like really over dramatic. You know what I mean? Like, people are freaking out about holes in Jaclyn cosmetic lipsticks. And yes, there was a lot of things that happened with that were maybe more questionable, right? But gosh, products don't come out perfect. You know what I mean? And it's just something that you have to understand and expect and kind of have grace for people, right? So something else I was thinking about when it came to this idea of the damaged and defective product is that, even though I really don't want to talk about this too much, but I do want to make sure that people in my audience who might be launching a product, right, understand like these are the realities of things that happen. You just have to have a plan for how you're going to deal with them. I read somewhere that online purchases are returned at an average rate of about 30%. And that when you purchase things in store, there's a return rate average of like 8.9. Now, when it comes to makeup, I'm sure that the information is a little high, right? Because most of the time we buy makeup and there's not an expectation that you're going to be able to return it. Like, I'm sure a lot of brands, it's like you buy it and unless there's something really wrong with it, you're not allowed to return it. That makes sense, right? Because it's not a reusable product. It's not like I bought a shirt at a store and then I decide I don't want it and I can return it. Like, makeup's a little bit different because you contaminate it once you own it, and returning it means they have to throw it out, essentially. So, but I was looking and saw that like Amazon, right, says that they have a return rate of only 1% to 2%, which is interesting, being the largest like online retailer. And if we take the numbers on this, just knowing that there are at least a million palettes out there from this collection, 1% of that, right, would be 10,000. So if 10,000 people come up and make a video or share a picture or a tweet or something that says, oh, my product was defective, it was damaged, there's something wrong with it, right? If 10,000 people find something wrong, it's going to make it seem like this launch sucked. You know what I mean? And I'm sure part of this is actually probably what happened with Jaclyn too. I don't know. I don't know the exact numbers of how many units she had to sell, but think about this: 1 million pallets, 10,000 people at least should find an issue or have a reason to return it. So these are just things to be aware of, right? That you just need to have a plan. And I'm sure 100% Jeffree has a plan. Like, we don't have to worry about it with him, right? Now, that was how the content really pushed this launch to be truly successful. Now, part 3, I want to talk about the multiple streams of income that together easily added up to a passive 8-figure payday for Shane alone. Like I said, I don't think we could at all figure how much Jeffree wins in this, but makes in all this, because he has a business. He run, like, how much does he actually get in his pocket? But Shane, I definitely think, made 8 figures or very close to it. So secret number 6, which I hope isn't a secret for you guys, because I've been talking about this for years. More income streams means more money consistently and passively. So the more income streams you have, the better. So now we're getting into one of my favorite secrets of this entire class, which is all about the money. Okay, so obviously I don't have access to any more information about the series or the launch or whatever contract exists between Shane and Jeffree, but based on things that were mentioned in the series and based on some information we do have access to, we can make some really educated guesses about the financial success of the launch overall. The first key to point out here is that Shane actually had a total of at least 4 income streams involved in the series and launch that we know of, okay? That we know of. One was the conspiracy collection itself. That was the first way he made money. He and Jeffree made money. Number 2 was ad revenue from YouTube for the series, because he did have ads on the videos. I think they were, at least every time I started a video, I got a pre-roll ad. So he at least had some ad revenue going on. There was also a sponsorship in the first video that would have brought in income from the series as well. And then the new Shane Dawson merch launch that happened before the conspiracy collection launch, that was income stream number 4 for him. So income from the conspiracy collection itself. So based on information Jeffree provided during the launch, I think we can approximate that Shane probably made about $8 to $10 per pallet. If we can say that 25 to 30% cut that he was supposed to get is accurate. This means that all in, based on some of the unit totals that we were given, it's likely safe to assume that Shane brought in likely 8 figures from the conspiracy collection, if not a full 8, very close to it, okay? So that means $10 million in revenue from the collection based on rough estimates, and absolutely with like the restocks they're going to do, he's definitely going to hit that. Now let's talk about the income from YouTube advertising. The second source of income comes from the video series itself and the ads generated from YouTube. Luckily, we can actually look at Social Blade information for this, which isn't 100% accurate, but it gives us an idea of what Shane would have earned from the videos themselves with like minimal ads. So based on this information, I totaled it all up for the series thus far, right? Because I only have the totals for, as of this week, how much he had earned. He earned over $525,000 in ad revenue from the series. Now let's talk about income from the video sponsorship. Another source of income that came from the video series itself was in the form of a sponsorship from a company that Shane works with often. Now, it doesn't appear that the company, which I'm intentionally not naming here, it doesn't look like they sponsored every video, but they were prominently mentioned in the series premiere, which is really big. If you're going to mention anybody, if you're going to get an ad from anyone or a sponsorship from anyone, the first video in the series is going to be the one that gets the most views, for sure. So truthfully, I have no clue how much they would have paid Shane in the video for that video mention, but that video was the highest viewed of all the series, which would have been expected. And so I think it absolutely would have been a payment in the high 6 to 7 figures. Anything less, and Shane really doesn't know how to negotiate his worth, okay? Like that absolutely had to have been like a few $100,000, if not $1 million for, the first video. I think, I don't even know. I could pull it up right now. You guys could probably see right now. It definitely has over 20 million views. You know what I mean? So that was definitely expected. And so he either is a bad negotiator or he made quite a bit of bank on that video sponsorship itself. And then last but not least is the income from the new merch collection. So the fourth income stream that we know of for a fact was the new merchandise collection that Shane launched with Jeffree's merch business during the series a few weeks before the conspiracy collection launched. Again, we don't have figures for units of each of the items that were sold, but based on the margins that Jeffree quoted Shane for a t-shirt, right, early in the season, and based on the number of boxes of merchandise that were pointed out during the series, I don't know if you guys remember, there was one point when they're walking through one of the warehouses and Jeffree's like, all of this is his merch, like this whole half of this. And it was tons and tons and tons and tons. Like it was insane. And we know that launch sold out. So we're looking again at another mid 7-figure, stream of income boost to Shane from that initial merch drop. And that's not including like restocks that are going to happen. So the total income from all the known sources, again, all in, I think it's very plausible that Shane did make close to that $20 million claim that was made at the title of one of the videos series installments. So if you guys remember, he called it like the $20 million deal with Jeffree Star. I think that was probably close to what he probably brought home. So obviously when they released that video, the bulk of the income hadn't come in from the cosmetics launch, but I think that number did likely come up as a total revenue number that Shane could expect at some point, right? So now the best part for Shane about all of this was that this income was passive. Yes, he did the marketing, creating the videos, and yes, he got to play chemist for a while, mixing some colors and choosing some shades and naming them. But the honest truth of this whole process is that the bulk of the real work for this launch was done by Jeffree's team. This was, after all, a collab, right? So this was not Shane starting a business. This was Jeffree doing the work. No wheels were reinvented during the process of this series, right? And so this really was a passive income payday for Shane. Okay, so secret number 7, this is the final secret, okay? A collab is an opportunity, not a business. And I think this is really, really important. And I really wanted to include this as part of this class today. A collab is not a business. It's an opportunity, a money-making opportunity. So there's a difference between a product launch and a business. If there's anything I've learned from watching too many episodes of Shark Tank, it's that a product isn't a business. And in the case of this collab between Shane and Jeffree, this was one very well orchestrated income earning opportunity for Shane and an excellent business opportunity for Jeffree Star Cosmetics. Yes, Jeffree is the business person in this dynamic. He's the one running the show while Shane played his role as marketer, for which he will likely be earning a nice passive income for his efforts for the next few years, I'd figure from this. Like, I think the fallout for this, right, is going to probably be the next few years. I could imagine a few launches in 2020, and who knows, if Jeffree decides to keep the conspiracy palette as a staple in his line, he may very well do that. And so I think Shane could be earning on this for a while. I point this out not to diminish Shane's role in the success of this launch, because he played arguably one of the most important parts. But I want to make sure that those of you who are watching this, who are interested in running a business and marketing it properly, understand the difference between Shane and Jeffree here. Much more goes into a business than social media, content, and products. It's easy to think that because both Shane and Jeffree are influencers, that they both played an equal role and had an equal stake in the process of the endeavor. But that isn't so. Very often, I see people online working very hard to establish what they believe to be a solid, long-term business, but what they're really working on is a platform or an opportunity where they can earn some income or turn a quick profit on an idea. I've said this before, but it warrants repeating that a blog isn't a business model. A YouTube channel or a podcast isn't a business model. Instagram isn't a business model. Although you can use these platforms to market a business, more goes into the long-term strategy and planning for a business than creating content and selling products or influence. And it's very important that if you want to run a true business, that you are operating from a legitimate business model. And so this is where I kind of want to touch on, the idea that this influencer marketing, we actually have in front of us in this case study, 2 different models of how influencer marketing works, right? We have one model here of, we'll say Shane, who is purely doing the marketing work here, right? He is going to make a big payday from this collab, but he was purely marketing. So this was I don't want to say a smash and grab, but that's what it is. Like, whenever you are someone who's just responsible for the marketing purely as an influencer in order to create content, in order to promote products, that's what's happening, right? While we have a second model we can look at here of Jeffree Star, who this was part of his business. You know what I mean? This was a part of his business strategy that's going to have positive repercussions for him much longer than it is for Shane Dawson. Okay? So where does that leave us now? Where do we go from here now that we've covered all 7 of these secrets? For those of us who do dream of this level of success for our own businesses, it's easy to think that we can't replicate what happened here, but I hope that this class has clarified the process and shown that with the right strategy and effort, we can build ourselves to a place where similar success is possible. After all, we can each replicate what we learned today in our own businesses and continue to scale until, you get to that big place where Shane and Jeffree are. No, none of us are likely running a YouTube or Instagram account with over 20 million followers. But with these tips, the more you, and with these tips and more, you honestly don't have to have a huge following in order to have success. At the end of the day, it took Shane Dawson nearly 15 years on YouTube to execute on a strategy that I've been using and teaching since my channel hit 1,000 subscribers 5 years ago. And I was able to leverage my small following to yield me a full-time income from my business. And I think we can all agree that my path is more reasonable and achievable for a larger number of us. So I just want to make sure you guys understand that, yes, part of the success of all this was that they had huge followings. But the other part of the success of all this was understanding great content marketing and business strategy and understanding those fundamental things that were necessary to make a launch happen. Really great branding in order to stand out from a crowd. Communication that was consistent, that built the know, like, and trust factor so people knew that they could buy from Shane, right? There are influencers out there who I think have big followings that people wouldn't buy from. I'm sure they probably have a subset of their audience that would buy from them, but I think that there was really a strong know, like, and trust factor for Shane, right? Now, of course, they had done the marketing. They did that content marketing. They did the market research. Shane knew, and really, if Shane didn't really understand it because you watch him, and I don't think he's as clueless as he lets people believe. But I think Jeffree knew. I know there's an audience here to buy makeup from you, Shane, because all of your content in this docuseries style that you've been doing is content that is driven towards people who are interested in beauty. And if you're interested in beauty, if you wanted to see this drama, you are likely someone who buys makeup and will buy makeup from us, right? So they knew that, okay? So they did the market research, they did the marketing, they put together a really great campaign, right? That, yes, overpromised and underdelivered as of this moment. I haven't seen the final video, but I'm not going to be shocked if I'm not left. If all my predictions come true, I'm not shocked. And then finally, something that really made an impact here was that Shane maximized this opportunity, and so did Jeffree, right? Because it's all of the physical products came through Jeffree, right? So Jeffree knew that this is not just beauty launch, this is a merch launch, right? And then Shane, knowing the content, marketing side in terms of, influencer marketing, he knew that he was going to get ad revenue. He knew he was going to be able to get a big sponsor to come in and pay him to be mentioned in the video series right at the beginning of the series. So you can't miss it, right? So all those 4 income sources that we could see, right? That all added up to a huge payday for him. And these are all strategies that we can and should be executing on no matter how big our following is if we want to launch a business, product, service, etc. Like I said, I've been doing this content marketing thing is not new. I've been doing it for years. And I've been successful running my own business, replacing my own income, stuff like that. So if you would like to follow in my footsteps, I would be honored to help mentor you along the way if this is something that you're interested in as well. So I want to ask you some questions. Do you dream of running your own online business, but keep waiting for the perfect time to get started? Do you have a great idea that you want to turn into a business, but you aren't sure where to begin? Maybe you have a business, but you're feeling overwhelmed trying to do everything that you think you need to do or are frustrated by a lack of results. Let me tell you, I know the feeling, and I'd love to help you finally check this off your to-do list. If you're someone who has been waiting years and years, like you've always had this goal to run your own business, do your own brand online, see if you could, really make a name for yourself, carve a place for yourself online. I know it is possible, and I know so many people just sit around leaving this on their to-do list as a major goal that is left uncompleted year after year. And we're sitting at the end of 2019 like, Is 2020 going to be the year that you actually make this happen? Like, this is up to you. So what I would say is that I would love to have you work with me in Empire Building. If you're not familiar, Empire Building is an on-demand business and marketing program that was created by me, where you'll follow guided information and activities to build your online business step by step. It consists of the same 5-pillar method I used to build my first online business and replace my income from my 9-to-5 career in just 6 months. It is work at your own pace and designed to help you create a personalized plan through helpful worksheets that will teach you the fundamentals of online marketing as you create the essential elements for your business. Now, I actually have some exciting updates to share with you for anyone who's actually is interested in joining Empire Building. I've completely, created some new options that you guys may be interested in if you do want to work with me, if you want to get more on these strategies. If what we talked about today was interesting to you, this is going to be right up your alley, okay? So the first option that I have is a workbook bundle. So I've actually brought this back by popular demand. A few years ago when I actually created Empire Building in 2015, it was all workbook based, so all PDF workbooks. And so I've brought back that bundle. Now, this is going to be the most affordable way to learn from me and the strategies that I teach in the program. This option includes the 5 core workbooks that are following the 5 pillars of online business and empire building. So these are the branding, communication, community, advertising, and income. And I think you probably could see the correlation between what we talked about today. The importance of branding, having communication methods, having that online community, doing the work, advertising and marketing your business, and diversifying your monetization through multiple income streams, right? This is the core of what we talked about today and why Shane and Jeffree were as successful as they were, because they had all of these elements down. Now, so you'll get in this option number 1, most affordable way to work with me and learn from these strategies, 5 core workbooks. They're in PDF form that you can print on demand and enjoy from any PDF reader or device that you have, right? And you keep those, they're yours forever, okay? Option number 2 is to enter the full course. So the full Empire Building course includes access to the private members only course website, where you'll have access to all 6 video modules of the course, plus the coordinating workbooks and additional materials. With the full course option, you'll also receive 1 year of email support and mentorship, as well as lifetime access to the downloadable course materials, okay? So Empire Building has evolved since the time of it being 5 workbooks. It is now a complete course that has modules, 6 modules online with a whole bunch of awesome bonuses that I want to talk to you guys about right now. So let's talk about what the course actually covers, the full course. Number 1 is branding. Creating a cohesive brand to attract your ideal audience and stand out from the crowd, exactly like we talked about what happened here with the success of this launch. Learn how to choose the right business name, learn how to use your brand to set you apart from your competitors, and learn the essential branding elements and how to choose and design those to attract the right audience for your business. Communication module is about choosing exactly which platforms to use and how to use each of them strategically. So learn about all the most effective online communication platforms and how to use them for your business. Learn which platforms are right for your specific brand, business, and skill set. That's so important that there are so many options of what you could use online. You don't have to be everywhere, but you do want to be specific about making sure that you're maximizing your skills and your interests and understanding what is going to work best for the type of business you're running. And then learn the strategy for growing each platform and increasing followers organically and authentically, right? This is so important, right? None of my of Empire Building is about buying advertising, right? If none of that is that back end, like sketchy sort of, pay to play modeling for success. This is exactly what I did to grow my following and to get my business created. And I still do not pay for advertising, right? I still don't have to do that. I grow organically year after year. And it's because of these fundamental strategies that we discuss in these workbooks and within the full course. So the next module is on community, which is about creating a community around your brand that effectively turns your fans into paying customers, right? So you're going to learn how to attract your ideal audience to your brand. You're going to learn how to strategically engage your audience to become fans of your work and learn how to transform your fans into what I like to call super fans, who will help you spread the word about your brand and become paying customers for life. So there's nothing better than having, a fan watches you. A super fan is someone who watches you, buys your products, and tells other people about you. That is the number 1 type of fan you have. And that's a lot of what Shane and Jeffree do have that makes them successful. Next, in the advertising module, it's all about spreading the word about your brand and business through low or no cost marketing that you can do yourself. Again, like I said, I don't pay for any advertising. So learn how to perform market research to understand your ideal audience and what products or services they want to purchase. Define your brand and business messaging so that you're communicating effectively about your business and products to the right audience, really telling people that story and selling to them through story. And learn how to use content marketing to grow your influence and brand by effectively selling at the same time, right? That is the way to go, right? We can see here that this launch with Shane and Jeffree relied heavily on this video series that not only is going to bring Shane new audience, but it's also going to give him more paying customers. And of course, income. Develop the products and or services based on your business goals and diversify your income stream to increase profits. So you're going to learn how to identify and develop the business model for your business, learn how to decide and diversify different income streams for your business, and learn how to develop effective plans and projects to grow your business strategically over time. Finally, the sixth module, right now, we'll say right here with this fifth, let me go back here. Let's go back to income. Income, right? So those are the first 5 workbooks. So if you do the workbook option, those are the 5 workbooks you get. Those are the 5 core workbooks for empire building. But the full course also includes a 6th module and workbook, which is business administration. So you'll learn the essential processes of building, organizing, and running a legitimate and successful online business. So you'll learn the tenets of proper business planning to set business goals. You'll learn how to manage business finances to clearly understand your business income and expenses. And you'll learn how to create systems for your business to help you save time and to properly manage your team if you choose to bring on a team. Right? So there's also, like I said, bonus content in the form of some workbooks. So we have 4 bonus workbooks that are included when you buy the full course. Creating click-worthy headlines, so important to get people to actually want to click on your content. Pricing strategies. I know pricing is a big problem a lot of people have. They don't understand how to price themselves and price their worth and things like that. So I have a whole workbook about it. Email list building, which is a huge part of online marketing as well. And writing your business plan, right? So the entire process of empire building creates a business plan for you. But actually, if you're someone who wants to formally write it down, maybe you want to apply for funding or anything like that with like a business, with a bank or something like that. A lot of times they want to see your business plan. So I have a whole workbook on writing your business plan. And then I've got some more bonus content in the form of some video masterclasses as well. So you're going to get 4 additional video masterclasses when you join the full course option as well. So the first one is a blogging masterclass for anyone who is interested in blogging and seeing how you can really learn to market yourself through SEO and content marketing online that way as well. There is a New Year's business planning workshop in there as well. So this is especially timely for this time of year. If you're someone who wants to learn how to plan for the new year for your business, this is going to be right up your alley. There's also a planning for a successful holiday promotion. Again, we're walking into Q4, we're walking into the most lucrative time for businesses online and in retail as well. So, planning a successful holiday promotion is definitely part of getting your income up and diversifying your income and just drawing in new opportunities for yourself. So that's also another masterclass. And then there's also a styled stock photography workshop in there to get you started with creating great graphics and images. If that's something that you struggle with, I think I mentioned before, I do also have a photography course that's not part of this, but I do have a workshop that kind of touches on all of those things that you would need to know in order to kind of create the best possible graphics and visuals for your brand online through, video and photography. So those are the video masterclasses you get as well. And now I also have a third option, which is the full course plus a content call. So option number 3 includes the full empire building course that we just walked through in option number 2, plus a 90-minute content mapping call with me. This option includes everything we discussed in the full course option, plus one 90-minute call with me to map out your content marketing plan for the next quarter. Now, I will say, you guys, if you haven't noticed, right, I would like to, say that I feel like I'm the queen of content marketing a bit, because I think I've been able to create some really awesome content that really has drawn people in. And, when I compare what I'm doing with my business and my growth and my list growth and my audience growth with other people online, so many other people who are doing similar things to me, are relying on advertising, right? But I do not pay for ads. All of my new leads and new customers come in organically and authentically through great content. So I decided that, for this month only, when I'm launching this third option for you guys at the end of this year here, would be a great time to help set you guys up for success by offering an option for you guys to have a one-on-one call with me where we can literally plan out your content marketing for the next quarter of the year to really get you started for 2020, like hit the ground running. And I will say that this is probably, of all the feedback I get when I work with my students and my clients, it's that my content is really on point. I've worked with clients in the past where, they still say that their best blog posts, right? Their best content ideas were things that I helped them create. And that became a very big lead magnet for them. So, I really think that this is where I stand out, where I'm the strongest, is with helping people develop content for your brand. I know it's really hard when you're sitting down saying, what am I going to blog about? What am I going to create a video about? You have to be strategic about that. And that's why in this option, I'm giving you an opportunity to sit down with me over the phone or virtually through a Skype session, whatever works out for us, to actually map out the content that you should be creating to get your first 1,000, to get your first 10,000 followers on any platform that you're working on and more, right? Because creating content for me has been the ultimate source of success for my business, creating endless new leads for me that, very often end up converting to customers. So it's a very important thing, and I wanted to have this as an option for you guys. This is not something that I've done in a while, having one-on-one calls with me, but it's there now, and this is an offer that is very limited to the end of this year. So let's talk about the investment in empire building, right? So, if you want option number 1, the workbook bundle, it's on sale right now for $222. Option number 2, the full course, is $333. And option number 3, the full course with the 90-minute call, is $555. But for the rest of November, I've got a special fast action bonus for you guys where you'll get $111 off with a clipless coupon in the shop, which means that option number 1, that workbook bundle, goes down to $111. That's nuts for the fundamentals, all the workbooks of the class, which you can buy on my shop individually for $49, okay? So this is an amazing value. Option number 2, the full course, that means it's $222. Again, you're getting a year of mentorship with me, Q&A. You can ask me what you need if you need more resources. And there's so much more actually in terms of resources in the full course on the website that I haven't even mentioned. And I do sporadically update that by giving you guys new things. And I even have like a section where I do blog posts and kind of give you guys additional thoughts too. So there's a lot of added value by just joining the full course. And then option 3 becomes $444, right? And this is only for the rest of November that you're going to get this. It's an automatic coupon that you'll just add your desired option to your cart, and the coupon is applied at checkout. You will see it at checkout. So there is a link down in the description of this video where you guys can go and see all 3 of these options, and you can choose which one works for you. And we can get started building your business so that this is a goal that you check off your list for 2020, because that's really important to me, that you guys are really understanding that this is possible for you, that there are strategies for you, that what happened here with Shane and Jeffree, yes, part of it was a numbers game with their following, but part of it was just damn good strategy, right? And I know the strategy. I've done it before. I've been there before. I've helped other students achieve 6-figure incomes and their own success, being able to leave their full-time jobs, right, to run their dream business. This is possible for you. Let me be an example. Let me help you and mentor you, right? This is an open opportunity for you to not only get these strategies, but to work with me as well and get a bonus for the month of November when you sign up. Sign up this month, you guys. It's time to do it. The time is now, okay? So now let's go back, and we got some, now it's going to take me a second to remember how to get my cameras back. Oh, where am I? Oh, where are they? Camera. There I am. Hello, everyone. Okay. And let me go ahead and get my comments back. Where are my comments? Wait, come back here. Oh, where are you? Mic, camera. Scenes window. Sorry, I just got to find where my comments, I closed out of them. Ah, there they are. There. Perfect. Oh, where's my overlays? Show overlays. Okay. So, let's see what we got going on here. So if any of you guys have any questions, I would love to answer your questions. I would love to hear what you guys think about this. Like, what do you guys think about this series? What did you think about what I shared today? If you have any, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong camera again. If you guys have any questions, I'm here for you for as long as you guys need. It is 2:30 now, so we're an hour and a half in. If we could wrap this up in 2 hours, that would be a record for me, you guys, because you guys know I can talk forever. So feel free to ask me questions. And of course, if you haven't yet, please give this video a thumbs up because I'd really appreciate it, and feel free to share it as well. Okay, here I've got something that Sam had said earlier. I'm going to add this to the broadcast. You guys can see that, right? Yeah. Like, should I get up higher so you guys can see my face? Above this. Okay. So Sam says, this makes me think, would you consider making nice quality notebooks? I bought what I thought was a cute notebook at Walmart last week, and as I was using it, the quality isn't that great. He continues on that a notebook that ranges between $10 to $25, but is nice quality, something similar to a bullet journal with dot grid numbered pages. I think he's asking me if I would consider making notebooks. And the answer to that is, it's not my business goals to be someone who is a product-based business. Especially too, you guys are going to see in 2020, I'm probably going to be shifting my focus of my business to, I don't know, in a way, like I feel like 2020 is the year that I finally write the darn productivity book, #1, right? But over the last few years, I've been doing a lot of new research into productivity, and I really feel like where my heart and soul is and where my business needs to be is through being a thought leader who creates info products or books and shares information. I think that's my strong suit, right? I don't think I'm ever going to be a product person. I'm not a perfectionist enough at heart to be a product person. And I know that I came up with a few, physical products. We've got my master planner, which I know, Sam, you own. And I've got like the meal planner and the High Vibe Bible and all these wonderful things that I think were just like necessary things that I wanted to exist. But by no means were they some sort of like custom work of production, right? Every once in a while I think, oh, I wish I got into production so I could make myself my own perfect whatever, like my own perfect binder, my own perfect notebook, like all of those things. But it's really just not what's in my skill set. It's not what I do best. It's not what I'm interested in terms of like what sets my heart on fire. So that's the amazing thing about the internet is that you can go the physical product route and have amazing success, or you can do the digital product route and the info product route. And that's really where I feel like my interests lie and my strong skill set is. Like, I think I am a teacher at heart. Like, that's what I am. And I do so much reading. You guys, like, how many? I'm at like over 30 books right now that I've read this year. And these are nonfiction, right? So 30 nonfiction books that I read this year. And it's just like, I love information and I love putting information together in a new way that people aren't thinking about it. And I'm very much someone who likes to experiment. So with information for themselves to make their life better. And I want to share that with you guys. So the long and the short of that is that I am not interested in a product-based business. And so that's not the way I'm going to go. And I think I'm even going to double down in the next year on info products and finding ways that I can help reach people and teach people and change people's lives, as opposed to finding that perfect notebook. You know what I mean? Because for me, products are never where it's at. Like, the material is never what it's about for me. It's really about the energetic changes, the real life and habitual changes that people can make to make their lives better. So that's where I'm at. So I hope that doesn't disappoint you too much, Sam, but that's like where my head is and like where my heart is. So have to do what I feel is what I need to do. You know what I mean? Hello, one of my one of my awesome subscribers, Christy, came in a little late. She said she's going to rewatch this later. No big deal. LG was also a little bit late. No big deal, girls. There are a replay for a reason. Sam said, okay, a lot of comments from Sam. It's just really because he's actually asking questions. So he said, haven't kids shows been doing this forever? Like they create a whole cartoon just to sell the cartoon characters as toys. I agree. It only seemed to work for adults now. The thing is though, is that it hasn't been just, it is a different way of marketing, right? So we know that this, like, you can create a whole cartoon and you're like, look at all the things that we can now sell, right? You're right. That has been really the way it goes with kids for a while. But on different levels, we've had content marketing just going on for adults as well for a while. It's just that, I mean, I think now it's just become more visible, right? Because the content marketing before used to be like through click funnels and through, like I said, faceless marketers who you didn't know who it was. It was just like a brand, a business, you know what I'm saying? That was like selling shit. And I don't mean to say shit, but, it's not, it's just, the influencer side of this has really changed the game, I think. And now that they're influencers like Shane Dawson know that they can just like create a whole series like this and like launch something, like it's interesting to see this play out on a big scale. Whereas someone like me, I've been doing this for a while, right? Like I've not created an entire series, obviously, to sell a product, but I've put together an entire video that would sell a product. Look at what we're doing right now, you guys. Like I'm sharing this information with you guys in the hopes that any of you who are interested in this information, who are like, yes, she knows what she's talking about. I want to work with her. I want to do what she's doing. Well, join my empire building program, right? Because this is how I continue making this great content online, right? But I do think that it's going to end up becoming a little bit problematic for Shane Dawson specifically, because as someone who has never really sold to their audience before, I think it all depends on how he wraps up this episode today. Whether or not people are going to be like, you just did that to sell us something. And I don't even know if most people are going to understand it. Like, I understand it. I always knew what was going on. Like I predicted that launch happens and bada bing, bada boom. We don't see another. I didn't think he'd do another video at all. Like I'm not surprised that he does one more because I knew there was going to be backlash, but that's it. Just one more. He's a multimillionaire right now, you guys. He's got to like hop a jet to like a dream vacation. Like this is life-changing for him. In a way that he's never really experienced. I think there's going to be drama from it. I'm just going to say that. So, oh my gosh, you know what? Actually, Sam, what you just said too, before I move on to the next thing, you were talking about like shows creating things just to sell toys. They do this to adults too. I mean, they do this. Okay. I'm thinking right now, Star Wars, right? The Star Wars franchise. What were those things called? Oh my gosh. In the one installment, there were those little they weren't puffins. What are they called? I don't remember what they're called, but the little bird things on the island with Luke, they became like a whole toy thing that went crazy, right? I mean, I own some Star Wars toys, and there's the new Disney Plus channel that's been launched, and there's a show called, and I don't have this yet, The Mandalorian is what it's called. And there is a Baby Yoda. If you guys haven't seen Baby Yoda. And the biggest thing that's in the news about this darn Baby Yoda right now, who's adorable, and like I want a Baby Yoda, is that they're like, we are going to have merch, don't worry. Like soon, like at the end of November, there'll be merch, don't worry. You can own your very own Baby Yoda. So it's like, they do this to adults too. Like it's not just for kids, but yeah, you're right. Because I want a Baby Yoda. Awesome. San says that he's feeling very inspired. You're very welcome, San. Okay, so Margot asked a really great question here. She is planning on launching a line of products and merch next year. Do you think it's better to launch the entire collection at once or to roll one out to see how it does? I think this is, okay, so this is up to you, how you actually launch your collection. In terms of what makes sense for you, right? Because sometimes it is better to launch one thing. And sometimes, depending on if it's a full collection, it's just better to put it all out there, right? Because what you end up having is an opportunity for people to pick and choose what they want. And something that's coming to mind for me about this, when people just launch one thing and then they launch something else, and then people are like, wait a minute, if I had known that was coming, I wouldn't have bought that. There's so many examples of this. There was something recently that was like drama about this. Oh, that somebody launched something. I cannot think of it. I don't know. I feel like this is something that Apple does, where they launch one thing at a time and then they'll launch something even cooler next, and then everybody wants to buy the next thing too. So they're like, darn, I already bought this, but now I really want this. So there's that to consider. But if you're asking, in order to do market research, I would say that what you want to do is put out content that relates to the things that you're buying to make sure that people want it, right? Like, make videos in which you are attracting people who are going to be wanting to buy that product as a solution. That's exactly what content marketing is. And, I go much more in depth on like how you actually create good content marketing inside of empire building. So that's something to think about if you're interested in, planning out like this launch for yourself, Margot, and using content instead of advertising to bring you an authentic following. But how you do your products, I think that it doesn't matter. I know I said during this video that, maybe something they could have considered is splitting up the launch. But honestly, I don't think it really would have, I don't think it would have made a difference to them. And I don't necessarily think it would make a difference to you unless there are logistical reasons that you wouldn't be able to physically launch part of your collection because maybe of inventory or like manpower. You know what I mean? Like if you don't have the people to actually fulfill the orders, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe you want to do one part at a time. But I would say, at the very least, you probably want to preview the entire collection so people know what is coming. I think that this is one of those things where I see people using the strategy of dropping one thing at a time instead of launching the full collection in order to, it's a way to trap, unfortunately, like your most interested like followers and subscribers and like, customers, because they will buy one thing and then they'll want the next thing and they'll buy that too, even though they might not need both things. So I think there's something to say about that. It's not a practice that I do, but I can understand how that sometimes it's necessary to do that. So that's up to you, like the way the logistics and the planning goes out. But if you're asking in terms of how do I know that this will be a good launch, do the content marketing on it, like create the content for it and test, the way that Shane had, he didn't do this on purpose, but a whole bunch of his series that did amazing were all about beauty YouTubers. So of course, part of his fan base was going to be people who are interested in beauty and interested in him. And then therefore, if he sold them makeup, they were going to buy it. You know what I mean? So, and especially pairing with Jeffree, who's got such a good reputation for the quality of his makeup and stuff. So, that's something to think about. So I hope that helps. Oh, Sam says Sam is short for Samantha. True story, Sam. I thought you were a boy. I've always thought you were a boy. So I'm sorry. Thank you for clarifying that. Now I have a new vision in my head of who Sam is. Okay, you guys. So we're rounding out 1:45 here, it looks like. There are still many of you here on. And there are more of you watching right now than thumbs up. So I would like you guys to encourage you guys to go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already. I would truly appreciate it. It makes it worth it for me when I'm getting thumbs up in the algorithms so that more people can see this, and not even just new people, like more. I would just like it if more of my own audience saw my videos. And one way you can help me do that is by hitting the thumbs up. So thank you guys. I see some thumbs up coming in. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And of course, I give you guys permission to share this if you'd like as well. This isn't going to be something that's going to be like closed off, so or like behind a sign up wall or anything. So I do want to encourage you guys to. Oh wait. I have more things I was supposed to put up on the screen, wasn't I? Is this it? Nope. Where is it? Wait. Delete that. Ah. There we go. I want to remind you guys to use the link in the right here. use the link in the description box to select your option of empire building and get $111 off when you add to cart. So this isn't about, you don't have to remember to put in a coupon code. You enter whatever option 1, 2, or 3 you want and into your cart, check out, and you're going to see it, the money come automatically off. So I would highly suggest that if you're interested in what we talked about today, to join me for empire building, and definitely consider, consider what's in your budget. That's why I'm creating these 3 options so that you guys have a way to work with these strategies that is incredibly affordable. And then you have an opportunity to also work with me, either in a mentorship level through the full course, or actually get my one-on-one feedback, and we can map out your content and your plan and, start getting your business funneling in customers and prospects and leads for whatever it is that you are going to be selling, right? Selling or promoting. And this works for, like I said, just brand influencers, people who might just be doing affiliates, right? This works for anyone who's online. And I know it seems a little too good to be true. A lot of people are like, well, I have a product-based business, so are the strategies different for me than a service-based business? No. Everything is the same. It's just the type of content, right? How you might break that down, the content specifically that you're going to be creating. But for me, it's been very successful to create my own content and not worry about advertising. I will say I have experience with messing with Facebook ads, right? It was, I will say, not very lucrative. It was a financial loss for me getting involved with that, because there's just so many factors that go into whether or not advertising is going to work. And I've found that when it comes to my authentic content creation, my authentic content marketing, that this is the best way for me to get people converted as a super fan, a fan of my content, and then eventually a customer, right? And hopefully a customer for life. So, okay, you guys, it doesn't look like I have any other questions, so I must have done an amazing job, okay? Must have answered all your questions. You have no other questions about this. So yeah, make sure you get on at the very least. If you're interested in online business and things like that, go ahead and use the link in the description. That also has to do with signing up to my email list, because I'll be sending out some more information after this, and I will be doing more of these sorts of marketing classes, and I would love to invite you to those, give you guys a heads up so you know it's coming, so that you can join me live and get your questions asked and answered and all that fun stuff. So if you guys have any questions moving forward, feel free to leave them in the comments. Make sure you take advantage of this discount option right here. Like I said, it's automatic for the month of November. All you have to do is add one of the 3 options that's linked down below. There's a link where you can click through over to my shop. You'll see the 3 options, and those are the only options that apply to this coupon. So make use of it, and we can get started building your business, building your brand, getting these strategies under control and started and executed before 2020. And you are going to have an amazing, life-changing year. I'm so excited. So thank you guys so much for joining me today, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye.